Hello, welcome back to the road to episode 8, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi on the 15th of December 2017, and this is the wrap-up video for the Star Wars Celebration videos, which kind of just stopped because I just didn't have the time to get back and watch all the panels I wanted to watch. So all I really went back and watched was the Mark Hamill panel where he gave a tribute to Carrie Fisher. I didn't even watch his second one. He did I think Mark Hamill himself panel where he just told Star Wars stories. Didn't get around to watching that. Just haven't had the time, but I did watch his tribute to Carrie Fisher. So this will just be the wrap-up for Celebration. Not too much to talk about because I didn't get to watch much from day 3 and 4. Before we get to the Mark Hamill panel, I'll talk about the Star Wars Battlefront II news, which is really exciting for me because I became a huge fan of that original Battlefront game, but the more recent Battlefront game. I know people say, oh, the original's the best from the PS2 days and whatever, but the PS4, current Battlefront game that came out a couple of years ago. I remember when I did the videos in the road to episode 7 for Star Wars Celebration 2015, and people were saying, you're going to react to the Star Wars Battlefront trailer, and I'm like, no, I don't really care about that game. And oh, how things have changed. Star Wars Battlefront, talked about it enough, one of my favourite games, love it. Can't wait for the second one. Kind of sad that it means that people will be leaving from playing the first Battlefront game, but they've promised a lot with the sequel. We saw the great trailer, which didn't do too much for me because it was more cinematic stuff and not gameplay. And I just want to know about the gameplay, and also they're very much pushing the single-player campaign, which they didn't have for the last Battlefront game. A lot of people were critical of that. I came in knowing that it was a multiplayer shooter game. I had no problem with the single-player campaign not being a part of it. I love the multiplayer aspect of it, and I'm not really a multiplayer shooter kind of guy, but it's Star Wars. It puts you in those Star Wars battles. It's incredible. I love it. That's what I want out of the sequel. I'm not too interested in this single-player campaign, in the story. It's cool that they're showing you a different perspective, and we're going to play as a female Empire, I don't know, commander or whatever. So we're playing as the bad guy and seeing the bad guy's journey from the end of Return of the Jedi onwards, and apparently it's going to link to the Force Awakens, and it's going to have like one of those stories set in between. But again, I'm not too interested in that. I just want to play the online stuff, and they've promised we're going to have stuff from all eras, and we've seen little clips in the trailer of Darth Maul, a hint of Yoda. We're going to have Rey in the game, we're going to have Luke Skywalker in the game, we're going to have Darth Vader obviously, Kylo Ren. They've announced if you pre-order the game, you're going to get to have skins of Rey and Kylo Ren from The Last Jedi as well. I want to know how it's all going to work. Are we going to have like heroes versus villains, where we can have like Rey and Luke and Qui-Gon Jinn against Kylo Ren, Darth Maul, and Darth Vader? How amazing would that be? I don't know if they're going to limit it, but there's a lot they could do, and they've promised maps on different kind of planets and stuff. There's going to be maps on planets that have been created for this game and this story, and they're going to release like a book about the character you're going to play in the single player campaign. So there's a lot of new things they're doing with the game. They're revamping a lot of the stuff in terms of class system, things like that. It looks like you can play as one of the battle droids from episode 1. So we're getting prequel stuff, original trilogy stuff, and sequel trilogy stuff. And I wasn't sure where they were going to go with it. I thought maybe they might do a prequel trilogy set game, and then in a couple of years do Battlefront 3 and have the sequel trilogy to tie in with the end of episode 9. But they're doing all eras. I'm excited about it. I want to hear more details about it, obviously. But yeah, really pumped for Battlefront 2. Couldn't be more excited for it, in fact. Then the only other thing I would talk about is the Mark Hamill panel, where he gave a tribute to Carrie Fisher, which was incredibly sweet. Very funny, an interesting story that I've never heard before, where he kind of felt like he was a little bit in love with Carrie when they first met and were filming Star Wars, and he kind of tricked his way into making out with her, which is a very funny story, where he's like, oh, well, I'm great at making out or kissing on screen, and she's like, well, no, I am. And so they kind of was testing it out on each other and kind of were having a bit of a make-out session on a sofa, and then she started laughing, and so all the passion was killed. But he felt like it was never something he was that seriously interested in because she's too high maintenance. I found that funny. I never knew there was any kind of spark between them. I guess there wasn't, but he even said that I think everyone was in love with her when they met her because she's such a magnetic personality. He got a bit emotional at times, obviously, and that he's still in the grieving process, but I thought he did incredibly well with what he was task to do, which is to sit there for an hour and talk about someone who's been very dear and close to you, who just passed away a few months ago. We had some other clips from people telling stories. There's a great one from the director of Episode 8, Rian Johnson, where he said he was directing Carrie on set, and he says this himself. I had this stupid director spiel where I was like, okay, this is your character motivation because you're doing this and you're feeling this, and I gave this big long speech, and all she said was, so faster and more intense, basically. And he was like, yeah, I guess so. Another great story from Kathleen Kennedy about showing Carrie the clip from Rogue One with the young Carrie Fisher, and apparently her quote was, "Oh my fucking god!" And then she went, "Anyway, so I got this book coming out." It's kind of brushed onto the carpet, which I find, hilarious, typical Carrie Fisher. Obviously, what they did with the 40th anniversary panel was a huge tribute to Carrie Fisher, but it was really nice to have this prolonged, I won't say prolonged because that makes it sound like it goes on longer than it should, but this lengthy kind of discussion and reminiscence of the life of Carrie Fisher as told through one of her close friends. And he even says that sometimes we go years without speaking, but it was like that kind of sister relationship where every time we come back together again, it's it's that kind of special bond that they've had for so many years. And he even talks about how they had such a great relationship when they made the first Star Wars film. By the time they got to Empire, she was, I think, engaged or getting married, and already the relationship was so different. Like they'd kind of grown up a bit. But very, very good. If you haven't seen it, go try and find it. It's on one of the streams. They have it all up on the Star Wars official YouTube page. You just need to do a little bit of digging, I think, to find it. I don't think they uploaded it separately, but it's on the Day 3 one, so go check it out. That's it for now. Celebration was a great event to watch, but I just didn't have the time to watch everything because I was doing the 24-hour movie marathon. So, and again, haven't had the time to catch up with everything, and that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you can sit down and watch all this stuff, sometimes you don't have the time to. So I kind of picked what I had the time to watch, and I felt like I picked the most important bits. So yeah, next time I'll be talking about the trailer. I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth. I know the time has passed, but I'm going to do it anyway. Again, I get sidetracked with this series, but I want to keep up with it. So I look forward to that soon. I'll see you in the next one. In fact, today is May the 4th. So May the... I still can't say it. I can't say it. I love Star Wars. I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Didn't even think about that before I turned the camera on, but I cannot say May the 4th. It's a date, guys. It's the 4th of May. Why is that? Make the day that the original Star Wars film came out Star Wars Day. I'm all for celebrating Star Wars, but the May the 4th, I can't say it. Can't say it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. May the 4th be... Fuck!